I'm Marvel. This channel exists to connect gamers to MMOs they'll love. In this series, you'll follow in the footsteps of a complete newbie, delving the depths of Anarchy Online, an MMORPG so old school that it is older than some watching this video. Subscribe for more MMO content, and thanks for watching. In the last episode, Helnot, Lesnot, and I were tasked with defeating Desmond, the corrupt overseer of the employees here in Arete, Anarchy Online's new player experience. Yet before I even got to see the battle, Helnot must have taken him down solo. Unlike the Elder Scrolls Online when it first launched in 2015, quest progress here is shared, which makes staying in sync so easy despite being a game over 20 years old. We return to Alex and hand him the device that explains the cut in pay which he asked to inquire about in the prior episode. In return, we're given an encryption compiler. However, we need two categories of items. Number one, something to encrypt, and number two, encryption codes. So this seems like it will be a multi-stage quest. When we've collected all the necessary items, we'll need to find Stan Goodman, who can help us forge an ID. Moreover, Alex also offers to help us learn how to craft. Remember the robot junk I looted in the pilot episode? You can use it here. I open my inventory and notice a nanocrystal entitled Composite Trade Skill Expertise. This is really a skill that buffs a target with an array of crafting statistics by 20. I don't think I've ever played an MMORPG in which you could buff players to enhance their crafting. However, I failed to realize that I could learn it. Moreover, much like SAO in Classic EverQuest, yet for groups, the Grid Jump nanoprogram is for the Fixer class. While I'm an adventurer and thus can't learn this particular ability, I love MMOs that drop skills as items. Project Gorgon and EverQuest 2 immediately come to mind as good examples. We'll come back to skills in a little bit. Unlike the burger bus from the prior episode, we're now in the actual vendor area of Arete. Observant players may notice that a golden dot exists on my compass on the top right of my screen, which I presume Helnot used to direct us here. I wish that the tutorial told you about its utility more clearly. Before us is Stan Lee Goodman, not Stan. Apparently Alex knows him by his nickname. He's willing to help us acquire an ID, yet he needs us to obtain a lockpick first. We have to buy one and actually sneak into a building to loot it. Sound familiar? This will be the second time the game tries to teach us how to sneak. Let's hope it's better than the first. Thus, we're off to buy a lockpick, yet I have no idea from whom. Had Helnot not helped me, I likely would have been entirely lost at this moment because I did not realize that the NPC's location is directed on my compass. That aside, you can tell that the game runs reasonably well with an impressive view distance, all of which includes real playable areas, and foreshadows aspirational content even here on Arete. I walk up the stairs and click on the tech booth. Obviously, there wasn't a suitable store model available for a designer to use, so they simply put this here instead. Now, can you guess which one of these icons contains the lockpick? Obviously, there wasn't a lockpick icon either. Moreover, I'm unable to purchase it because my inventory is full. It wasn't clear to me how to sell items, so I decided to drop a superfluous one on the ground. Come to think of it, I would have hoped for there to be a selling tutorial by now. Obstructive visual pedagogy aside, the ambience here is supremely pleasant and immersive. The sounds of pistons firing and gears grinding populate the ambient soundscape, and you really feel like you're in a dystopian mind of a failed apocalyptic reality. On our way back, I noticed that you can look down and see mobs roaming about under the metal slits. We'll visit there soon. We're now at the shipping container, into which we must sneak and use the lockpick to retrieve the box Stan demands. Similar to hiding an airlift, you're able to enter concealment by pushing H. After I try to attempt to conceal myself, I notice that I'm being noticed. I stop and try again, yet am blocked for a few seconds, which I presume is due to PvP balance. I try to successfully hide again, yet am still being detected. While I absolutely adore bona fide stealth mechanics in MMOs, I wish this tutorial actually failed you for not successfully sneaking. With that said, I love the sneaking animation and appreciate the attention to detail that while dual wielding, the blades do not overlap. Next, the strong box requires the lock pick. However, unlike the fire extinguisher in the pilot episode, I also have to open the icon to retrieve the lock pick, then apply that lock pick to the lock. This 3-step action is entirely unnecessary, teaches me nothing, and only adds confusion. I wonder how many newbies quit at this moment because it wasn't clear that the lock pick I thought I bought wasn't a lock pick, but a case containing one. Regardless, I open the safe and loot the item for Stan. We return to Mr. Goodman, who now wants all 4 of the items we've been slowly collecting. While Anarchy Online does feature surprisingly robust quality of life features for such an old game, I'm surprised there isn't a separate quest inventory for easier organization, or that there isn't a button to automatically give the NPC the items it wants. With that said, we're now encouraged to meet with Sarah for clearance codes. We're also directed to see Marco. Somewhat similar to visiting a class trainer in WoW to learn skills, some merchants sell nanoprograms to buy. Marco is one of them. Sarah is an armor vendor here in Arete. I suppose the miners aren't provided with gear and must purchase them like farmers in feudal Europe. Her dialogue is charming by utilizing a Southern American accent. However, this step is confusing because she's both a quest step and a merchant. It is not clear to me at all that I should also buy equipment from her. Obviously, Hellknot knows what I'm missing out on, so as he outfits his character appropriately, I want her off. I appreciate the world building, in that there are no customers buying armor since the workforce is too poor to afford any, yet in the adjacent area it's full of executives buying decadent suits. They also speak with you when you interact with them. At this point, Hellknot recommends that I buy some newcomer's armor from her. I was confused and asked if they were for a quest up, because the game leads you to believe that she's a quest individual, because every other NPC to whom you've spoken thus far has been. However, by breaking player expectations, you can and should purchase equipment from her. Upon reflection, I should have taken better advantage of her store while I was still in Arete, because her items are parsimoniously affordable. Moreover, like Conquer Online, you can also level them up, a feature I absolutely adore and wish more MMOs implemented. However, the game does not clearly tell you that you have to level them up. I figured that they were either statically the best or that they automatically scaled, an assumption that may get me into trouble. It's now time to explore the micro dungeon underneath the shopping area. I love layered levels like these, not only because it's a clever use of gameplay space, but also because of the world building story designers can tell. We're here to loot a credit card. This quest is brilliant as it reminds me of an early Mona in Arcanum, in which you can either fix or destroy the town steam engine. While I didn't know this information at the time, this credit card has two branching paths. Either you can follow the quest as we will demonstrate and receive a very useful reward to help you heal, or you can steal the money on the credit card and use it to bribe your way out of Arete. In a future episode, another player assumed that I kept the credit card, yet discovering that I did not, generously gifted me the funds to override my ignorance. Yet, I pine for a time in which modern MMOs utilize this old school approach to questing. This makes your choice impactful, and I hope it's just the beginning. Yet, we're not done here. See the glowy mob? It's a boss. Will my not yet scaled newcomer's gear keep me alive? Watch the next episode to find out. Thanks for watching.